Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Summit. I am your host, Brian H. Waters, and I'm joined by, first, coming all the way from the great state of Virginia, the one and only, the godfather of the group, Glenn Thomas.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on is a poor week in Virginia football with UVA falling to Boise State and Virginia Tech not keeping the league. But other than that, I'm here to talk professional wrestling.
And also, coming from all over the world, as always, this time, wherever the Philadelphia Eagles are, or Eagles fans, he's coming from during football season. That is the one and the only, the Wiz Corey.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, the Buckeyes won yesterday. The Eagles won today. I'm having a fantastic weekend.
Well, I'm not talking sports today. Cowboys lost, the Ravens lost, Orioles, I think, they got swept by the Boston Red Sox. I mean, payback after with the Orioles when they put out the Red Sox in 2011. I mean, it came back 3 years later. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, let's get started. Guys, Paige decided she was going to drop a pipe bomb on the women's division. And, I mean, Corey, I'm going to start right there with you. You don't seem too happy. You seem like I feel a certain way about that.
Well, no, because it just seems so forced, guys. I feel as though, okay, we've seen this with AJ Lee, and it's like, okay, this is clearly a thing of, okay, within so many words, you've pretty much transcribed AJ's entire pipe bomb, and you're now giving it to Paige because now you need something to do with Paige. I mean, her heel turn could have been anything else other than this, but whatever. At this point, if they're going, whatever they're doing with the Divas Revolution. Well, let me ask you guys this: is it over? Like, because I hear them talking about the Divas Revolution, or the Divas Revolution in a past tense now. Do you all think it's over? I guess in a sense of the turn now that Nikki Bella has lost the belt and Charlotte's the champion.
I don't think it's over. What I think is happening now, you'll begin to see more people involved. I think they're trying to get the NXT revolution, what you want to call it, because now with Charlotte having a belt, you'll see Charlotte and Sasha Banks. And if anything, I can see them working the Bella Twins out of everything. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing how long their contract renewed for, whatever case may be, but I can see them working the Bella Twins out and allowing the NXT girls to take over, if you want to say, if I want to use those terms. Because we'll see more matches with Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. You throw a Naomi in there. You could throw my girl Alicia Fox because she can work with anybody in there. You know what I'm saying? Natalya. I think this will help Natalya out. I know we're jumping ahead of each. I don't want to jump ahead, but I know the Natty's back. This helps Natalya with having more girls in there that can wrestle who are not definitely divas.
Okay.
Man, well, see, here's the thing about it. I don't mind it. When I look at the whole situation, anytime, everybody knows Paige is the anti-diva. There's a reason why she was paired in the ring with AJ Lee during AJ's retirement party, the WrestleMania match and the match the night after the WrestleMania. So I think she's the perfect person for it. What I look at it is, all right, everybody says the same thing as far as Nikki Bella and the Brie Bella is concerned. They in a position because of who they know, who they sleep with every night. But she went there with Ric Flair. I thought that made, Charlotte Flair. That made sense. She even brought up Team Bad, said they're a bunch of glamour, and we see what happens there. And then she also went there with Becky Lynch. Now, what that does is, one, that brings attention back to Becky Lynch. Why?
Yeah.
Because what she said was true. What is Becky Lynch doing? Ever since her five-star match that she had with, and I see we got Mike Knox joining the show. I haven't seen people wear their jerseys backwards since 2002, but that's something else. But as I'm saying before, because I know Mike will chime in because he was very vocal about this subject. But what she said about Becky Lynch ever since that five-star match she had on NXT TakeOver with Sasha Banks, what has she done? She might have scored a victory here or there, but she's always quiet. Now, because Paige said something about her, we will see her act crazy or do something. Otherwise, she'll fall right back into NXT. And if Becky Lynch goes back to NXT, guys, as much of a fan of hers and much of her wrestling fan, as much of her wrestling as I am a fan of hers, there's no bouncing back because right now Dana Brooke and Emma, they're coming, and also Bailey's owning the NXT. Mike,
First, guys, I apologize for my tardiness. I really do. But coming in, and then I got my ding on backers because, like Randall Cunningham, we saw, and we kicked that tailpipes. So, how about them Philadelphia Eagles? What's going on, Corey? I know you enjoyed that victory.
Yes, I
But
did.
speaking about Sasha and her bomb, if you will, I wasn't a fan of it. Have
Thank
nothing
you.
against.
Exactly.
I know that I'm not the biggest Paige guy, and this has absolutely nothing to do of my feelings towards her as a competitor, because I think she's a okay competitor. I just felt it killed everything that was being built. I felt that in killing what was being built, I figured something like that, something that was being said to the this social media era that we're in, because we know they're all engulfed in what we're doing, what Twitter is doing, and so forth like that. Could have came from somebody who actually needed it. This would have came from Natty, I'd have been like, yeah. And it was needed because we all respect Natty. We all love Natty as an in-ring competitor, and we know she's not getting any shine, so it made sense. I get what everybody's saying where they need to break up the teams. I get that also. I understand that. I respect. I just thought bad timing, wrong person. That's my thoughts on that.
Look, my thing is this, and I think I'm going to allude to it. I think Paige's pipe bomb per se. How many times can you turn Paige heel? That's one thing. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. How many times can you turn a heel within a matter of a year? You know what I'm saying? So she's turned so much. My thing on Becky Lynch is this: don't sleep on Becky Lynch, because she may be the Seth Rollins of the group. And I say that because everybody slept on Seth Rollins, meaning Seth Rollins wasn't going to be that good guy. Everybody was banking on Dean Ambrose or Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins was quiet. I mean, Becky Lynch's thing reminds me of how Seth Rollins was the one who actually became the champion, and now right now the top heel in the WWE in the company. She has the skills and ability to do so. I see Becky Lynch maybe wrestling Charlotte. I see Becky Lynch and Sasha getting involved. I mean, it's so many dynamics you can do now in the Divas division, where if Paige is an individual, now this shapes up where everybody want to talk about it. You can shape up to a tag team division. You got more women there if you wanted to. You can shape up with the run, the more of a Divas matches on the card if you want to do that. So I think Paige breaking away is good. I don't think necessarily had to do it with a pipe bomb. I'd rather seen her attack Charlotte than verbally abuse her.
well, honestly, I thought it was gonna come with an attack. I thought that would have made sense, but I mean, Paige is vocal, and she was the one who started everything, and I felt it made sense for it to come full circle because she was the one that was hungry for the Divas Revolution, because she couldn't take out the Bellas. She couldn't beat the Bellas, and she went out and got help. But what I looked at it was, yes, she went out and got help, but in the end, she got jealous because one of the people she brought on her team outshined her, meaning Charlotte won the belt, and it's like, hey, I brought you here. I'm the reason why you got here. You wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for me.
I mean, great storyline. I'm not knocking the storyline as the story that's being told. As I quote Mike Knox, hashtag story wrestling storyline. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking the storyline. I'm just knocking the pipe bomb, because I think we've seen too many Paige bombs, pipe bombs in the world of professional wrestling. I think pipe bombs need to go away for a while, because everybody is doing them, and doesn't really give the same impact, because you had the one pipe bomb with CM Punk, which no one expected, and which was classic, and we've seen ones that happen afterwards, but they're not better. You can't keep duplicating and trying to get the same feeling that you had when the original one happens. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what WWE's trying to do, try to keep duplicating the feeling, and you can't get that. AJ Lee's pipe bomb was classic. CM Punk's pipe bomb, classic. Paige pipe bomb, we talking about it because it wasn't all that classic, because we've seen too many of them.
First, I'm not in agreement. I know the Wrestling Ram had discussed this, Ryan. I believe it was Jason Avant, or if I know I got his name wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. who also said that he thought that Paige started this thing. I completely disagree with that. I don't get, and maybe this is, and I know wrestling storyline, and I followed this timeline, this storyline. She was getting her tailpipe handed to her. She went and asked for help from the divas in the locker room, who all turned their backs on them except for Foxy, who said, I'm not going to go with you. I'm going to go with the Bellas because they are the best tag team. And essentially, She didn't reach. She didn't go down to NXT. She didn't pull them girls up. She didn't go to Charlotte. We saw in a storyline. We saw it all what it was. It was stale for a while as the bells were just kicking everybody's butt with Foxy becoming a part of them. And then Stephanie McMahon came out and said, you know what? Let's shake things up. So everybody who says Paige started this whole Diva Resolution, that's a gross misstatement right there. Paige didn't start anything. All Paige did was say, who wants to help me because I'm tired of them beating me up, and then nothing came of it. If they'd have made the story where Paige went and actually seeked out help from more than just the locker room that denied her, then I could see her starting it. But for me and what I see, I didn't think she started it.
But I think, when they talk about Paige starting Diva Revolution, I think they take it all the way back to the night after WrestleMania, with she being one of the first divas to come up from NXT and quote-unquote win the championship. And they're calling that the start of the revolution with Paige years ago.
This is all AJ's doing.
Years ago.
This is all AJ.
As I said earlier, the divas, and we were talking about, let's be honest, we're talking about the WWE divas. We have not talked about, we have just spent about good 10 minutes on the divas. So they got us talking about the divas. So purpose,
job done.
Complete. Job done.
And I'm in, Brian. Thank you.
All right. Well, moving on now. Let's stay right there. Let's talk about Natalya's return. What does this mean? Will we see somebody? And I'm interested to know, guys. What do you think? Will we see somebody join Natalya? Will we see Emma and Dana Brooke come up and join her and still do kind of double duty on NXT, or will we see them stay right down there and just the tweet that Dana Brooke alluded to? Will that just all it be? Just a tweet that maybe will come down the line.
Natalya's back. She's just another diva back. It's nothing. I mean, it's pretty much, it's to the point where I think just people made it relevant that she was so irrelevant in the part of the storyline that they were like, okay, let's just put Natalya back on TV. Clearly somebody's talking about her. But other than that, she's there. If they force doing something with her, great. But if not, there's nothing else coming out of that.
Well, did you guys see that slap on Thursday? Yeah, I gotta get used to saying Thursday again. That was on Friday for so long. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not going to take away time from watching Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder. But I watched it on Friday. So, but did you guys see that slap? Will we see? Will we get a two divas match at the next pay-per-view? Meaning, will we get a Paige versus Natalya, and then we'll also get maybe a championship match, or are they throwing Paige in the championship match and Natalya slap was just nothing?
I think it matters. I think the slap means anything. I think with Monday Night Football coming back, I know they have to compete with Thursday Night Football now as well, and we don't speak about that. I think Monday night is still probably watched more because it's just engulfed in America to watch Monday Night Football, and people that I speak to around the sports world, kind of don't like Thursday Night Football. They watch it, but it's So I think that maybe WWE is shifting back to where SmackDown's the more storyline of the shows that I thought they were a few years ago. And so I think it matters what happened with Natty, and I would love to see a two diva match on a pay-per-view. I mean, we're going to have the first ever in NXT Divas main event, that comes up. But when you alluded it to, Emma and Dana, it's something about Dana that in the last month of her character down in NXT, I've fallen off the bandwagon a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, I know. I'm big on Emma. I like Emma's dark look. But Dana Brooks, to me, maybe it's the hair that she came out with. She did her hair, got the streaks and stuff in it, and it took something away from her to me. You know what I mean? She had exactly what you were deeming her, that Trish Stratus kind of a feel to her. And now with the hair, it's like she's just one of the girls again. You know what I mean? And I know they have a lot.
Nope.
So that's not going to happen, right? But no, I'm they need to keep the divas down there where they are right now. The next one that should be brought up, which shouldn't be brought up anytime soon, should be Bayley, in my opinion. She clearly belongs on the next level as far as in-ring, talent is definitely concerned. But I think you have enough divas right now. That's just me. Glenn?
I think you can bring a group up just for the simple fact if you keep Team Bad together, if you keep the Bellas with Alicia Fox, you bring in Emma, you bring in a Dana Brooke, you allow them to mixed with Natalya. Now this is what you do. You can separate the two divas. You have two divas things going on. You still got the group dynamic, and then you have the individual dynamic with that whole Becky, Charlotte, and Paige thing going on. So now you can branch out and see what kind of traction you can get with the divas from a business aspect of it. What people watch. You all, like you said, we have Thursday night. Thursday night could be their playout. They could be the next. I want to say this, and I hope some people get it. They could be the next SmackDown 6, which means the SmackDown could be all about the divas without actually turning into a diva show, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So where that can be your Thursday night drama that goes in with your same type of scandal and your stuff and that people are watching. But this is your Thursday night drama show. So you can see that aspect of it, and I think WWE is on to something with the divas here. Let Natalya be a mystery. Let's find out, because we know she's. If you watch Total Divas, there was a thing where the scripted or reality, what is your choice with her age. You put younger people around her and let her get some work in. I think she still have more time to teach these younger girls and these younger ladies how to perform and on a different level, and I think she still got it. So I'm down with whatever they decide to do with Natalya. I think she should be with a group.
She's always gotten the bad end of the stick, though. I've always felt bad for her.
Really, why? Honestly asking why.
I think she's really been a heck of a talent that they've wasted that they've dropped the ball on. That they didn't know what to do with her, because I thought from us as wrestling fans and the IWC, whatever category you believe yourself belongs a part of, I think everybody loved her because she was a heart. You know what I mean? And
right.
I think that whole foundation of what they could have built around her and them as a collective group, they've dropped the ball every single way. I believe the WWE had when it came to Davy's son, when it came to Tyson, when it came to her. And here you go, you got this diva that truly, really, she's not, acrobatic the way that these younger girls are nowadays, but she can still go in that ring with the best of them. She knows how to work, you know what I'm saying? She knows how to tell a story, but yet they just never give her they've never given her a shot, in my opinion.
As vain as this sounds, is she, how do I want to put this as nicely as possible? Is she physically a draw as much as whoever over these last couple of years has been that top diva?
I think she's as much of a draw as Paige is.
Physically, and I'm talking about aesthetically. Let me put it that way.
I think she's way more attractive than Paige is, and I know she's more attractive than Mrs. Finger 8.
Okay. But so there's always. It seems as though for Natalya, which that it sucks. It seems like whether aesthetically or physically, somebody is always maybe a notch above her.
True that.
They're pushing.
True that.
Even if you look back when she came in 2008, Mickey, Trish, all of them were not Trish, but Mickey, Melina, Michelle McCool, all of them were still there. Beth Phoenix.
Fox got the belt, but Fox had the belt.
Yeah, but that was kind of due. If you think about it, she was kind of due.
More than Natty though.
Yes.
Natty had already had it by then.
Natty's never had the title.
What? Really?
Yes.
Yes, she has.
Yes, she has.
Yes, she has.
I could have swore a few while back they made a big thing about her never being Divas champion.
No, she's definitely been Divas champion.
I remember hearing that.
You don't remember her doing a double sharpshooter on Lake Cool?
Yes, I do now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Listen, I've taken Sudafed and what's them easy things you pour in. I'm all my bad.
Nah, it's cool. No worries. But no, she's been Divas champion, and
I could have swore I saw a storyline with her never being Divas champion. I really did.
Nah, she's been Divas champion, and they more so. It was kind of her same thing with Alicia Fox. Her in that same boat. They kind of were just due at least one.
Yeah,
but
she had
there's
one time.
there's always been somebody around. Your AJs, like I said, there's always either been a pretty diva person, not saying because she's not ugly by any standard.
Right.
But there's always been that quote-unquote pretty diva, or you've had an AJ or a Charlotte, just hypothetically speaking, somebody that they can plug a storyline in, because it seems as though there's something about Natalya, and it sucks, but it's something about her storyline-wise that I don't know if it's her talking or if it's just they end up pairing her in something else, or she's just so which is a lot of the cases, a lot of times in WWE that you're so reliable that it's almost to a fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you're such a good hand for them that they don't feel the need to take a risk on you to do something with you in a storyline because they know you're going to deliver on the house shows. You can deliver before Raw. You're that talent that can push or put over somebody that they are going to take the risk on. I think that's where she is.
Yeah, you know what? Let's be real. I think one, she's a victim of being. She's. I don't want to say too old, but if she was just 5 years younger, she would be in a better position. Let's go, Mike. You brought up a good point. You brought up the Hart Dynasty. Well, they were, in a sense, ahead of their time. It's just that Tyson Kidd stuck around where Harry David Hart Smith didn't.
Right.
If they were around in the Triple H era, if let's just say this was 5 years ago, say Triple H is doing what he's doing now, during their hype, and maybe a little bit longer than 5 years, then you would see probably Natty leading the revolution, But like for instance, the WrestleMania 28, we all leading up to it. Everybody kind of wanted a Natalya versus Beth Phoenix, but it was just better for Kelly because at the time she was as you guys said, the pretty blonde. She was the aesthetically pleasing. But then you watch a show like Total Divas. Now, especially with people question Tyson Kidd's manhood. Like, man,
I hated that, by the way.
I could have somebody like that, which obviously he knows. It's all a joke. That's why I always say that their drama isn't real because they've been together over
forever.
Almost 2 decades, so they grew up with each other. So I think it's like a thing where, hey, let's put drama between you two because we know you guys can survive it, as opposed to a couple that can't. Say like a Cena and Nikki Bella. I think that might be real drama, but that's another story. But the thing is that if you have a Natalya, if you would have had a Total Divas segment around her when the Hart Dynasty was coming up, and then you had a Triple H at the helm as opposed to a Johnny Ace, then you would have probably seen more Natalya title reign. And I do think that she'll get a Mark Henry or Kane style title reign because they kind of hinted towards it with her Total Divas segment, which I also don't think was real. I think that was scripted with her and Stephanie McMahon, but I do think they'll work it in there because especially Paige called her out, and I thought that was good. As much as you guys might not like it, I thought it was good because it was a great segue to bring Natty back, and you put them two in the ring together, you're going to get magic.
That one, absolutely. And I know we're going to move on from our subject, but that right there, because I've had to discuss that with several people and the Tyson Kidd drama that went on there on Total Divas. And now, I speak to Tyson quite often, to be honest with you guys. We converse and chat back and forth a lot. And I had to explain to some people like, yo, he's not that way. He's really old-fashioned. Like, that's the only woman this man's ever been with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he knows.
Respectable.
He doesn't like to share certain things like, going to a strip club. And, like, for instance, I'm not opposed to being like I'm not walking in one, but I've never understood him either. You know what I mean? And, if you're talking about, religious people and, homegrown people, and they're from the just how they were raised, and but the way you said, Brian, the way that they break this show down and things, the way that they do on there, I think a lot of do be Natty and what she does, just with all the, she kind of talks too much. So, and that's, I believe, really is her, not a victim, not a fixture of, this storyline. But we do know everything on television. There is nothing reality about TV except for sports. So,
no.
Hey, not even
sports. I'm going to go like this. Champ Creed was here. Only real TV is Cops.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. When I found out Cheaters was fake, I was heartbroken. It broke my heart, man. It broke my heart.
Hold up. Now, look, I'm gonna tell you
this. See, he didn't know.
No. Not all cheaters are fake, and I'll tell y'all a story offline because I can't say it on air. I can't, but I tell you a real life cheater story.
Moving on. Now, let's speak of, they say two things are real in wrestling. When you win your first title and when you get into the Hall of Fame. And this brings me up to a question posed on Twitter, which the Twitter world, maybe because I posted a question during football, but they have a tendency to get quiet. They just like to hit the favorite button, but they don't like to hit the retweet or comment.
Yeah, no, I don't get that either. Thank you anyway.
Your tweets are going to get on the air. Maybe they're scared. It's okay. We would not, do it without your discretion. But nonetheless, G-Lo and I posted, we had a conversation off air, and as always, he comes up with great stuff to talk about. So, hey, I said, let's take it to the airways, and I'm going to start with him. Is Christian a Hall of Famer? G-Lo, explain.
Yeah, this reason it came up. I finally had opportunity, football season going on. I finally had opportunity to see the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast with Christian, Edge and Christian that aired a couple of weeks ago from Baltimore, Maryland. And Stone Cold asked the question to Christian, do he think he's a Hall of Famer? And he said, it's up to the WWE. And it made me think a little bit about this question. And really, what reason I thought about it is this. Everything Christian has done a lot in the WWE as far as tag team titles. He's even with the World Heavyweight Championship. But he really established himself, and maybe some might even disagree, in TNA. But he is in the TNA Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that was part of the deal they made.
Yeah, so he is in the TNA Hall of Fame, and I'm not questioning his
I don't think he's in the TNA Hall of Fame.
He's not? He's not in Impact?
No, I think it's only Angle, Jarrett, and the Dudleys and Sting.
Hold on. When they first made that first announcement and he came back, what was that? He just announced somebody going there? I thought he was in there.
Yeah, he helped induct Angle, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Nah, yeah. I got to double check that, but I thought he was the first one to go in, and that's the deal.
I don't
think Christian went in.
Well, if not, then he'll go in the WWE. And I'll check.
Christian presented because I think it was the trade-off to have Flair over in except his Four Horsemen one. They sent Christian over to do, I think, Sting's induction. It might have been Sting's.
I think it was Sting's.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up now. Yeah, I remember it was a big trade-off, and I remember that he's not in. He's not in.
Yeah,
finish up your point, G-Lo.
My point is that he did a lot of things in Impact Wrestling, did a lot of things with pop culture. He should get in. Will he get in anytime soon? I don't think so. He even joked about it. If you listen, he said, on a slow year, and I think that's truly right. He will get in on a slow year. I don't think he get in on any other year besides a slow year.
For me, he's a Hall of Famer. And I grew up off of a lot of the guys that, people say the Hall of Fame's a joke and that anybody can go in. And honestly, it depends on what they want to do, how they want to do it. You're right. They all can go in because it's wrestling. And I'm going to say this with respect to him, and people say he shouldn't be. People say Uncle Rikishi shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. I say his pedigree says he should be a Hall of Famer. I think, and I'm happy Koko B. Ware's a Hall of Famer. Koko B. Ware put on good matches and was a lot part of that early rock and wrestling. So, I think Christian is a Hall of Famer based off the matches, the historical matches alone, and what this man has been part of. I can't stand when everybody says it's just Edge. It was called Edge and Christian. That's like saying it's Bubba Ray, not Bubba and Devon. It's when you're part of a tag team, it's a tag. It's the same. With all due respect towards Marty Jannetty, it wasn't the Rockers of the WWF. Now, if it's the AWA, much respect to the Rockers, but get the Midnight Rockers at that point. But it's not. It was the WWE. Marty Jannetty, Hall of Famer? No, it's Christian. Absolutely, positively, Christian is a Hall of Famer off of WrestleMania 2000, which I think that was, help me out, I always say 2000. Whatever that was 19 or 8, no, 19, which you know what I'm talking about.
2000 was 16, the
16, okay.
Triangle Ladder match.
That's all I know. I call it 2000. That was the video game that came out the year. It was WrestleMania 2000 was the video game. And his matches at No Mercy. Come on, anybody who thinks Christian's not a Hall of Famer, please explain to me why he's not.
Go ahead.
I just want to run through I know I want to cut you off. I jumped in. Just want to run through his stats real quick. 2-time ECW champion.
Well, I'm not going to say anything. Go ahead.
My bad.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Look, you're not by your computer, so I'm going to help you out tonight.
I don't need my computer. Remember that. I'm the wizard for a reason.
I know. It's in your Rolodex. 2-time ECW champion, 2-time the World Heavyweight champion, 4-time Intercontinental champion, 1-time light heavyweight champion, 1-time European champion, 1-time hardcore champion, and 9-time tag team champion, not only with Edge but with Lance Storm as well as Chris Jericho. He has the triple. Look, he got the triple crown. He's had every title in the WWE.
Triple crown, baby.
Yeah. Oh well, that was pretty much where I was going. So G-Lo ran off the stats, but that's pretty much. He's held everything. He's been a fantastic utility player for them that pretty much lasted all through the Attitude Era all the way through up until he left because they literally had nothing to do with him. You know, so he went to TNA, was a major player, and whether people will admit it or not, I think WWE does take that into consideration. They'll never mention it on television.
Never.
But I think they take that into consideration that he went over to TNA and still had a name and was a good name and came back to WWE and was pretty much kind of push value, but still was on TV enough where they made a difference with him. The pairing with Edge, you know, and like you mentioned, Marty Jannetty, you know, with Shawn Michaels and the Rockers. Pretty much the difference between that is that Christian had such a successful career off of, sans Edge, that the relationship with Edge, however, because it is Edge and Christian, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame just off of them being 7-time tag champions anyway. He's in. He's absolutely in.
Before you go,
It'll be a
Brian,
slow year, though.
Before you go, Brian, real short, and I don't necessarily think a slow year as much as people think so. You said something there when it came to, you go to Edge and Christian's finest moments, right? And you look at a lot of tag teams, they were one person driven. Edge and Christian wasn't Edge driven. They were equally entertaining. They were equally who they were. You may have thought Edge was the standout person, but guess what, guys? I'm one of the few, and I know I'm in a minority, that as a tag team loved Edge, Christian more than I loved Edge. I didn't like Edge until Edge came back after the serious injury and started pulling his hair out. That's when I said, oh, this guy's for real. For me. Go ahead, Brian.
I think, too, when we look at Edge and Christian, the reason is because Edge came first, and when you knew the spot that he had, you knew that eventually he would be the guy. You knew that if once that Austin Rock and Triple H had kind of moved on, you knew Edge was that next tier. He was what Bret Hart was to the Hogans and Savages and the Warriors. That's what Edge was to the standard bearers of the Attitude Era. Now, Edge and Christian was my favorite tag team, but I understand why, I understand why people look at it that way. And you know what? This isn't a scripted show, folks. This isn't one of those shows where we have a show meeting beforehand and we say, hey, you're going to say this and I'm going to say that.
Well,
and, we write it on our chalkboard.
This ain't that show that, okay, yeah, gotcha.
And so, we're not writing on our chalkboard telling you what we're going to say. Therefore, yes, I do feel that Christian is a Hall of Famer. I've said it time and time again. Yeah, he went to TNA, and he was somebody where I think fans realized, hey, he could be the guy. The WWE might not have believed in him, but then once he got to TNA, it was like, all right, you know what? Hey, he was the guy. He held that company. And, with the exception of a few bad decisions, they look like they were going to be on their way to possibly being mentioned in the same category with WWE. Not competing, but just being mentioned, especially with Kurt Angle over there. It was like, oh, snap, this is a problem.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? But then when he came back to WWE and when he won that ECW title, that to me, as a person who did not watch ECW that much, I enjoyed it. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, now this is what I want to see. Now you got me interested in this. But the guys when he won it, Mark Henry won it, and of course Matt Hardy. But now looking at it, when he won the world title, which I was not a fan of the fact that he had to drop the title to Orton, I felt that he should have been at least given a chance. But as Christian said, number one baby heel is better than being the number 2 baby face. I just felt they could have left Orton on Raw and not play the safe route by putting him on SmackDown. But then when he got the title back, and throughout that time, Christian was putting on the matches, and I dare to say he was outworking Randy Orton through that time.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks for Christian, I will say this with the ECW run that you just mentioned, it sucks that it got leaked that he was coming back. And WWE can deny all they want, but the storyline they would have had they been able to involve him in the Edge, Matt and Jeff storyline and have Christian involved in that, coming back, like that would have been huge. But, they can say, oh, we always had plans for him to be in ECW. That's a bunch of baloney.
I gotta know this because that part escapes me. What was the plans, or how do you think it would have happened moving forward had to.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. Well, remember at this time, Brian, this was when ECW was kind of launched as their own brand.
Yep.
Matt and not Matt and Jeff and Edge, Jeff Hardy and Edge were feuding over the WWE Championship.
Yep.
When Christian left TNA and was getting ready to come back to WWE, it was leaked that he was coming back. So instead of involving him in that storyline, because this is that storyline where all the mysterious accidents were happening to Jeff. When the pyro.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, his house, the real life incident with his house that, kudos to him for wanting to really include that in the storyline. But the real life incident with his house catching on fire, all of that situation, it was the perfect outing for, everybody was blaming Edge. Edge is behind all this. Edge behind all of this. It could have been Christian. But it leaked out Christian was coming back. So they scrape all of that. And, as cool as it was, because I was watching that episode of ECW when he returned, it was lackluster that it was ECW and nobody saw it.
It could have been a lot of money made.
It could have been huge had it been, oh, no, it's not Edge. Of all people who's been gone for 4 years, it's Christian. So, yeah, I think they kind of panicked. As they've done before, they panicked. They let the internet get the best of them. They forget that pretty much only 10% of the internet makes up for their fan base, pretty much. People that read stuff on the internet. It's pretty much only like 10%. So I think they dropped the ball with that one. This thing.
All right. I remember, when he came back, but I forgot about that part. I remember the whole Jeff Hardy and Edge storyline. Jeff Hardy's title was one of my favorites, but, I didn't really care that it was. I didn't like the fact that him and Matt had to go beefing, but,
I don't think that was the storyline. I don't think that was ever where it was going to go. I really think Christian was going to be involved in that. I think we would have gotten Edge and Christian against the Hardys again. I truly believe that.
Wow. Well, moving on, guys, this week, anybody get a chance to check out JBL's new show, Talking with the Legends, JBL with the Legends? Well, he had Eric.
Well, time out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to exit that because I watched that, but I'm kind of hosting a little party, so I've got to go back in. But don't spoil that for me. Y'all discuss it now because I have it queued on my WWE network that I pay $9.99 every month for since February of 2014. So I'm not going to spoil that for myself. You guys have a great show. I will be on next week. Peace out, guys.
All right, there's nephew Corey signing off. Mike and Glenn, JBL, sit down with Eric Bischoff in a rare shoot interview. Eric Bischoff has been the guy who said he was going to kick Vince McMahon's tail, and I know we're up against the clock. We're going to go, you know what, I talked to the people, they said we can go a few more minutes, those people over there on Fox 1340 Radio AM down in Hopewell, Virginia. They said we can go a little bit longer tonight. They didn't mind. So we will go a little bit longer. But besides, who cares about Peyton Manning versus Matt Stafford? I don't. You?
Nah, not really, because I'm already losing my fantasy league anyway. Matt Stafford's not gonna help me.
I'm currently kicking tail, but I just got NBA 2K16 on the mind.
Oh, shut up! Shut up! I don't have 2K16. What does Mike Knox always say? Peyton Manning always covers. So why you need to watch the game? You should be tuning right here.
There you go.
Live
there you go.
Fox Sports 1340am.com. I might have got that wrong.
I watched the shoot interview, and I thought it was good. I thought JBL hit the hard-hitting questions. I thought Eric Bischoff answered the questions to the best of his ability, things that he could remember and couldn't remember. I don't think he was throwing shade on anybody. I think once these wrestlers get to a certain age, I think especially guys like Eric Bischoff, who doesn't need the money, who's intelligent enough, who has a lot of good things going for him, there's no reason for him to lie about anything, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, because the big thing was everybody kept saying he lied.
Yeah. I don't think he needs to lie for anything. I think the Triple H thing, he told the truth. He told the truth about the Austin thing. He told the truth about AWA. I think in my mind, and I've heard many interviews with Eric Bischoff, and all the stories are the same. I know some liars. They don't get their story straight. They don't tell the same story all the time.
Whoa. Bruce Hart does.
Nobody. Bruce Hart is an idiot, and I'm saying that here. But nobody likes Bruce Hart. It is what it is. He's an idiot. But
Hey,
I think the
you know how?
JBL. I like the show. He hits hard as questions. Is a different environment. It's not like Austin's environment. It's not like anything else. They're in a nice studio with the clips and all that. So I think the environment is good. I think Bischoff was a great guest. And we talk about Hall of Famers. Eric Bischoff is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Hey, just like Eric Bischoff, he got his job. Well, he got denied for a job by interviewing a broom. Well, I got my job right here on the Wrestler Summit, Fox 1340, by interviewing a cymbal stand. Mike, what you think about it, man?
I actually liked it because I've actually over the years, before the end of JBL's career, I learned to love him, and I've learned to respect him so much after the things he did when he left the company, him coming back, him not actually knowing where to fit in from the commentary team to now having his own niche in that area to now he has his own show. I think he's credible to have it. I think he's intelligent enough to have it. And I think exactly what Glenn said here, why does he have to lie at this point? I've always heard the same stories from him. No, I'm not the you and the cores of the world that like to read the different books that our wrestler fans and fans that we are known in wrestling come out with. But from every insert that I've ever read, it's what it is. At this point in his career, what does he have to lose or gain from saying anything other than the truth? So to me, when this got such a bad outbreak or outlast from certain fans out there, to me this is just the same thing that fans just look for any and everything to do. When in wrestling, it's almost worse than professional sports when it's Eagle fans. I use my own demographic of fans, for instance. When something goes wrong, they're all over them, right? But if something goes good, they're all hee, right? That's wrestling fans. If you don't like the person, they just automatically hate them. So everybody hates the Cowboys, like the Eagles hate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't like somebody in wrestling, no matter what they do, they're always the bad guy. Triple H is always going to be a bad guy, no matter what he does good. So Eric Bischoff going to always be a bad guy because whatever he did to that person that doesn't know him personally, he's a liar. So what? I thought it was awesome. Can't wait for part 2 tomorrow.
I think that's where we get the real dirt. When you sit there and they said he's going to talk about Vince Russo. That's what I'm waiting for.
Exactly.
I thought it was great. Like you said, you guys said it best. The hard-hitting questions. And Mike, you brought up some great points about JBL. You just watched his progression throughout the years, and I remember when I couldn't stand the guy. I couldn't stand him on a microphone. I couldn't stand him in the ring, but that's how great of a heel he was because, he came off as such, he's so good of a heel, and then when he almost came off as he was so racist that somebody you see that you just want to beat him up, but then you have to remember, look who his best friend was, it was Ron Simmons, the first black first black WCW world champion. So, but this is great. I like who they started off with, Eric Bischoff. I want to see who he's going to have on soon. Stone Cold's podcast is good, but after a while, I'm not liking the last set of guests, and what I mean is it's just like Paige, the Edge of Christian. I'm fine with that, but when you come in from somebody who listened to the actual podcast, I'm thinking like when I watch it on TV and watch it on the network, I want the special ones, the hard hitters, the Vince McMahons, the Paul Heymans, even Stephanie. Don't give me people I can listen to on your podcast. That's all I'm saying. But this JBL, I really enjoyed it. Like you say, Bischoff doesn't hold back, and he's just embracing the Monday Night Wars. He's done something nobody else has done. That's beat Vince McMahon in
his own game.
Yeah, beat him in his own game, and the fact is that he said, it was always, he was obsessed with the ratings, and he probably did have too much power. But what I thought was interesting when he said that he realized that the reason why Ted wasn't backing him because all of that same pillow he relied heavy on, all of a sudden didn't have any more cushion.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
And that's what threw the thing off for him.
I thought that was good too when he mentioned that. It reminded me of what happened pretty much with Steve Jobs. You know what I mean? He's same situation. His one, secret weapon was the man who ran the company who didn't run the company anymore. And once he didn't run the company anymore, he didn't have the power that he had at one point. And exactly what you said. People can say they want to say I'm a WWE mark. I'm not afraid to admit it, even though I love the NWA and WCW. You know what? Man, they had a great product. They had a product that was rivaled, and many people loved more than a WWE product. So for anybody to have any shade or any hate towards Eric Bischoff running that company out of business, hey, you know what? You have your opinions, we have ours. He gave them what he thought could give them over the edge. We look at it now in hindsight. They say it's 2020. Yeah, you probably gave them too much money, but hey, you did what you thought was best. That's all anybody tries to do, is do what they think is best. And
well, before you jump in there real quick,
it's not the money. It's not the money issue. I think the issue was that when these guys got money and they had creative control, they told you they couldn't go on a Thursday Night Thunder. They told you they couldn't go on this Monday night, and they did this and they wanted more power. I mean, I think at any point you can't let the inmates run the asylum. You know what I'm saying? When you have a contract, this is your contract. I'm not going to make you a Booker Kevin Nash. I'm not going to make you Hulk Hogan. You have to show up for this show because you're in the contract. No, we don't have enough talent. And it wasn't all them. We don't have enough talent at TBS. It's like anything. I give you an example. I put on a wrestling show. I've been putting on wrestling shows, with other organizations for years. And now we did a show last March, and we drew in over a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? With a certain Hall of Famer at the show. Now the place that we did it at, we did it for years, but nobody wanted anything until you start making money. Nobody didn't want anything with WCW until Eric Bischoff was able to make a profit, and now all the big wigs wanted to put their hands into WCW. When WCW was failing, when WCW was losing money, nobody cared. Now when he started making millions and millions of dollars, primetime players, millions of dollars. When he started making $1 million, now everybody big wig and suit want to put their hands in it and stand it in practice, and everybody else want to control which way he goes. Why? Because they see dollar signs. Mm-hmm. And that was the fall of WCW, when dollar signs started being showed and everybody else was putting their hand into it, and the total creative. One thing Vince has is this, and no one wants to piggyback on it. Vince is the leader. He controls everything. Everything has to run through Vince. Eric Bischoff had to answer to somebody. Right. Eric Bischoff had to answer. Vince doesn't have to answer to anybody, and that's the difference, really the main difference between WCW and WWE. Vince, the creator and the owner, compared to a person who's just running the ship and who don't own the ship.
Well, yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see where it goes with, the second one, because there's supposed to be, like I said, more talks with Vince Russo. Obviously, we're going to hear about the Montreal screw job. The thing is, I'm just happy that it's not like, no offense to Shawn Michaels, but it's not, hey, if I said it, they said I said it, I said it. If they said I did it, I did it.
Yeah. Right. But, good point.
And you can check out part 2 now because it's already up on the network. If you paid your $9.99.
I paid mine. Always have, always will. Comes right up out of somebody's credit card. Ding, 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 ding.
Might watch that instead of watching Peyton Manning versus Matt Stafford. But, before we go out, before we leave, I want to talk about Seth Rollins versus John Cena, steel cage match, WWE MSG, this Saturday night. Guys, don't want to necessarily discuss the match, but the good old Hall of Famer, good old JR, Jim Ross, said this match is making him grow weary, and I wanted to know. I had to come to my brothers on this one because I wanted to know your thoughts about it.
I agree, I do. I think, and I'm saying it from a person who's been watching wrestling for over 30-some years. You know what I'm saying? There's enough talent on a roster where you don't have to see Cena and Rollins all the time on TV. They can do it on house shows. That's sure. That's good. But on TV, I wrestled you at the pay-per-view. I'm going to wrestle you the night. It's no different than we saying we don't want to see Cena and Orton. You know what I'm saying? So some fan might argue, well, just John Cena and Seth Rollins. Well, what makes it different from John Cena and Randy Orton, which we've seen 100 times, or anybody else? It's enough of people in there that you could put Seth Rollins against a lot of people. Don't need to see John Cena all the time. I understand that it brings money into the house, but on TV you can do different things, different storylines. I kill this storyline, let it ride out to whatever it is, and then maybe 6-7 years down the road bring them back together, because Orton and Cena hasn't touched each other since the last time, which has been about 2 years now. So for a house show like MSG, which is not a house show because it's going to be on NXT, take that back. Does anybody need to see it? It's like another pay-per-view. Sure, let it be a sell. When, and I'm asking you this, and I'm done. When does it used to be that cage matches was the matches to settle it all or to end the score? Are we still in that era?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And someone like yourself who's been watching wrestling for over 30 some odd years, I see the yay and the nays in this. I understand why. I'm quite sure some of you guys are intelligent wrestling fans, but as a fan, okay, I'm tired of seeing it, you know. But this doesn't bother me. I'm one of those kind of guys because they put on good matches, and because of that, you know, I get it. And like you just said, which I said absolutely not. Maybe they decided, maybe, you know, this can be the final straw. I doubt it, but, you know, maybe someone, because we know they're listening. Okay? Still cage match is supposed to end a feud, not continue a feud, not begin a feud, not just to have it there to have it in the place. Hell in a Cell between Lesnar and Taker is going to come up supposed to end the feud, not continue from that point on. I think they've lost their way, the WWE, when it comes to storylines and what has always been their progression in the story. And sometimes they worry about just, well, not even a little bit, somewhat a lot of what the internet is saying. Focus on who you are, stay to your guns and what you are, and don't come out there like Bryce Harper and them and fight yourself. That's all they do. They just keep fighting themselves. Just don't do that. Don't do that. That's my opinion. I'm sorry, Brian. I had to get it out there. I thought it was a hilarious thing today.
It was. Sorry for my Nats fans out there listening.
I'm not. That's what you get. That's what you get.
I mean, that right there showed the weekend of the DMV.
Yeah,
right there. That's how the whole DMV felt. It was represented. There was 30, 45 seconds in the dugout right there. The Ravens, Orioles, Redskins, Nationals, all lost. And sorry, so did the Mystics.
Yeah.
Hurt.
Oh man.
Hurt.
You know, live to fight another day.
Hey, but one good thing is that basketball season is right around us, and the Wizards Media Day is tomorrow. Training camp for the Washington Wizards starts Tuesday. So, hey, at least we have some basketball hope.
Yeah, how about that? But you know, me personally, I'm tired of seeing it. I don't need to see Rollins and Cena over and over again. I thought it was cool what Sting said that, you know, he put over Seth Rollins, said he's a great talent. You know, I'm a fan of Seth Rollins, and I'm a huge fan of John Cena. The more and more I watch him, the more and more I become a fan. And I will go out there and say this. Everybody knows who my favorite wrestler is. Oh, did you think you was gonna get a show without a Daniel Bryan reference? That's like the Undertaker losing at WrestleMania. It's not supposed to happen. Every time I step through Wrestle Summit, there's going to be a Daniel Bryan reference. Yes. But I will say this, and I'm a huge fan of Hulk Hogan. I'm a huge fan of The Rock. John Cena, in my opinion, is the greatest WWE superstar in total package in history, because you will never find anyone who loves the business like he does. And I'll close it off with this. I can't wait for Tuesday, because now we're going to see Mike's boy put his foot in his mouth. He'll Divas.
Well, I guess I missed the one segment. I guess I did come late, so good thing I missed that segment.
You missed a segment.
Okay, we just didn't talk about her. Okay. Cut her off. That's cool. She needs to be cut off. But yeah, I've been waiting for that episode all year. I've been waiting for that episode all year, and I'm kind of mad that it's coming on Tuesday when it's about to go off, because, boy, he got some balls. Michael, oh my God, he got some balls. But
Ziggler, feel the power, because the new day is here, and he best to help somebody. Oh, it's a new day. Yes, it is.
Shout out to Glenn's kids, yo. Beautiful video.
Yes, hey, you know, it's not, unless Glenn makes it, it's not for the internet to see. But I say this. Yeah, you guys are missing out. But final thoughts, speaking of Glenn, we'll start right there with you. Final thoughts for the week.
Final thoughts of the week is this. This was a slow week in the world of professional wrestling. I'm glad no one was doing anything crazy in the Performance Center. A lot of wrestlers, no one said any racist comments on Twitter this week. So it's been a slow week in the world of professional wrestling as far as news. But WWE is here to stay. Ring of Honor is doing their thing, syndication. Jay Lethal, if you don't know, got into a little trouble with ACH at a bar. They got into a little scuffle. But only one got punished. We didn't even get there. And let's say it wasn't the champion who got punished, if you know what I mean. But back in the day, as I said, told somebody earlier, we had this conversation. Whoever would have lost back in whoever lost in Cowboy Bill Watts Day would have been fired from the company. Well, that's the day and age we live in. But WWE is moving in the right direction. I'm happy about the Divas division, the way it's going. Not happy about the pipe bomb, but happy about the Divas division. I'm happy about the fact that Seth Rollins is still World Heavyweight Champion. Shout out to Sting, as Mr. Waters said, by putting him over. I think we have not seen the last of Sting because of his pride, it won't let him go out like that. Two, I think he still gets a WWE title run and is in him. And, Daniel Bryan, hopefully, I saw the final Total Divas episode when he left the business. Hopefully he comes back and we'll get one more run with him. And maybe we get a Daniel Bryan and Sting, which I think will be better than Daniel Bryan, better than Sting and The Undertaker. And that's just me saying.
All right, mute that man's microphone.
Or Daniel Bryan and Kurt Angle, which would definitely be great. But nonetheless, I can keep my fingers crossed. I'm still a Redskin fan. Hey, hail to the Redskins. Play RG3 this week, please, against the Eagles.
My final thoughts. First of all, Sting did do a video, which I thought was good. That comes to your email, but he said he's not hurt. That it's just a little stinger, which no pun intended actually. So that was very good. By the way, but my thoughts this week is NXT. I've gotten away from it for the last 2 weeks. Things going on in my personal life, but I had an opportunity over the last few days to sit down and kick back up on some wrestling, catch up on my NXT, and the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tournament. I love it. I love the tag teams that are developing in NXT. I'm always a Teddy Long guy, so I'm always a big fan of tag team wrestling. Why I love, and probably just me and my wife and maybe somebody else out there, how you doing, whoever you are, that loves as Waters likes to call them, the big penny belts out there. So I absolutely love NXT. I've been a component and a fan and telling people for the few almost 3-4 years now, Brian, if you don't like the WWE product, which is you're more entitled to, tune over to NXT. That's the show for for guys who want that that Ring of Honor, that ECW, that type of a feel of an environment. To the point that almost watching NXT lately, I'm kind of like wish they toned it down a little bit because they're giving out free tickets. You see little kids in the crowd, and some of the chants they're not WWE style audience chants they should be doing. But other than that, I love NXT. Keep loving wrestling. Keep listening to the Wrestling Summit. Keep listening to yours truly, Mike Knox, each and every single Monday through Friday on Fox Sports Radio 1340. We give you the best in sports, entertainment, and wrestling. So, Mr. Waters, get us up out of here, man. Your final thoughts.
All right, final thoughts for tonight is what a good week in wrestling, or maybe a slow week, but like you said, ain't too many craziness going on. I'm just looking forward to see right now. Main thing must-see TV for me is the Divas division. So I want to see what happens. I'm really not sure who's the number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So until I find that out, Divas division will be the thing that I will be must-see, tuned in tomorrow night on Raw. So we'll see. Until then, I am backtrack. I am Brian H. Waters. He's Mike Knox. He's G-Lo, and we are out, ladies and gentlemen.